So the other day, in fact, it was last week as I record this, we actually uploaded a video where we were calling around to different coin shops and we were comparing their prices on 90% silver and 1 ounce silver rounds. Now, the reason we were doing specifically those two numbers is because obviously, generally, those are considered to be the lowest premium items that you can buy silver-wise, and we wanted to see if you were paying more or less for 90% silver or generic rounds. Now, we had some mixed results around the country. Some shops were more for 90%, some shops were more for rounds. And we had done a video previously, just a couple of days before that, where we showed how online 90% is actually going for not just more than generic, but quite a bit more. So we wanted to compare that with, local dealers. And again, like I said, we got mixed results. But a lot of the comments in that video actually were wondering about selling. So what are some of these shops actually buying silver for? Like if you were to sell to them. So what we're going to do today is we're going to call around to a few shops and we are going to see what we can sell our 90% silver and our generic silver for to these shops. We'll be comparing it to spot. Spot's really close to what it was when I made that video last week. I think it was $26.50. Right now it's $26.40. So let's go ahead and get on the phone. We're going to make some phone calls really quick. I'll put my headphones on here. But as we make these calls, guys, really quick before we get into them, if you're new to the channel and you haven't done so yet, go down below and make sure you subscribe and hit that bell so you don't miss any of my future videos and notifications. Okay, so this first shop we're going to call is out in West Virginia. Again, we're just going to say we have some silver to sell, and we're going to see what they're willing to buy it for. We'll tell them we have generic rounds and 90% silver. Here we go. Yeah, hi. I have some silver that I've been sitting on. I was thinking about selling. I have a tube of the 90% silver quarters, and then I have a full tube of the 1 ounce silver rounds. Do you guys buy that stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. What are you paying for that?
Just a second. Let me see where silver is right now.
Okay.
Okay, the silver rounds, I would be paying $24.40 an ounce on those. The 90% silver, I'd be paying 16 times face value. So for a roll of quarters, I'd be $160.
Right, because there's $10 in those.
Right.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I'll think on it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Whoa. Guys, Spot, we just mentioned Spot. It's below me. Spot is $26.40. He looked, he knew. He was -2, so $2 back of Spot on 1 ounce rounds. And 90% silver, he was quite a bit back as well. In fact, it melts for $18.87, so he was buying it for $2.80 per dollar back of Spot. So if we do 16 times 1.4, he was actually paying $22.40 per ounce. $22.40 for 90% silver. Wow. Well, guys, we don't reveal the names of any of the shops that we call, even though all the shops that we call are in one-party consent states, which means legally I am allowed to record the conversation so long as I agree to the recording, since it only has to have the consent of one party of the conversation. We still do not reveal the names of these shops. We're not here to call any of them out. But, woo, guys, I promise you, that is... If someone tells you $2 back a Spot in today's market, that's not where you want to go. Okay, let me find another shop and we'll give them a call. Okay, this next shop is in Tennessee. Let's give them a call and see what they have to say. Hey, I have some silver I want to sell. I have a full tube of silver quarters, the 1964 and before, and I have a tube of the Buffalo silver rounds. Do you guys buy that stuff?
I'm sorry, I'm having trouble hearing you.
I'm sorry.
You got silver quarters and you got silver rounds and what else?
I was just wondering if you buy that kind of stuff.
Yeah, bring it in, let me examine it so I can determine its value. And yeah, we buy it and we pay cash.
Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh.
Bye.
You know where we're located?
Yes, I do.
Okay, all right, thanks.
Thank you. Well, I didn't want to push that one because he just told me to bring it in so he can determine its value. So what I get when I hear things like that is they just don't want to give out their prices over the phone. Now, there could be a number of reasons. It could be just because they are too low and they don't want that, that information being shared on the phone, because if people are calling around, and they're really low, they may just not go in. So he was asking you to come in and examine them. Now, why would somebody need to examine 90% silver and 1 ounce silver rounds? I mean, I guess there's 1 ounce silver rounds if, you might pay less if they're milk spotted or if they're beat up. But for 90% silver, I mean, that's pretty, pretty standard. And most people, even the shop that we called before that one is going to give you a number. But either way, we didn't get any numbers from them, and I didn't want to push too hard because I didn't want to, sound fishy or anything like that. So we will move on to the next one. Okay, so since we didn't actually get an answer out of that, the last one, we'll go ahead and stay in Tennessee. So here we go. Hey, I have some silver to sell. I have some 90%. I have a tube of the silver quarters, and then I also have some of the silver rounds, the buffaloes. Do you guys buy those?
Yeah.
What do you guys pay for that stuff?
Right now I'm paying over spot. What are you trying to get?
Well, I mean, I'm calling a couple of places to see, I'll be honest with you, to see who's paying, to determine where to take them.
Yeah. Well, I know what everybody else is paying.
Okay.
They're not paying a whole lot.
Right.
Most people are paying below spot or at spot, but I'll pay a couple dollars over.
For the rounds with the 90%, the quarters, how does that play out? Like
that's determined by the melt value. When you come in the door, and I'll show you the melt value.
Okay.
Because I have it on my screen all the time.
Right.
And I'll show you, and then I'll add it up over spot again.
Okay. Could you give me an example, like right now, like a tube of quarters, which has, I think, $10. Is that right?
Yeah. Hold on a second. Let me look it up here.
Okay.
Coin melt value. I use Coinflation, so I hope that's the same thing you use.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know exactly about that website.
Okay, well, that's what I use. And right now, looks like quarters are $4.77 each. So got there's 40 in a tube times 4.77 equals to 190. So I'd probably give you $200 a roll.
Okay. Oh, that's actually better than the other place I called. Thank you.
Yeah. Who was it that you called, if you don't mind me asking?
I don't like sharing. Yeah.
They're paying below spot, right?
Yeah, it was below.
That's what everybody tells me.
It was $2 below spot.
Holy.
So.
Well, I'm sure I'll be seeing you shortly then.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, brother.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay. So that was an interesting conversation, and that's actually, I kind of feel bad I don't get to go to the guy's shop because he was so cool. So paying $2 per ounce over spot for rounds, and then paying 20 times for 90%. So 20 times 1.4. So he's paying $28 per ounce for 90%, which is about $1.50 over spot. That's not bad. That's actually pretty average. Actually, it's slightly better than what I've seen even locally around where I live. So again, good or bad, we don't share the names of the shops that we call. It's just, 100% privacy. It's just all about getting the information. So I kind of feel bad. That guy was fun to talk to. I kind of feel bad I couldn't just go in there and, go to his shop. But either way, there you go. So $28 per ounce for 90% and plus 2, so about $28.50 per ounce for generic rounds right now from his shop. All right, let's get one more on the list really quick. Okay, so for our last shop, we're going to go ahead and call a place out in Oklahoma as we move west across the country. I know we're not all the way out in the West Coast yet, but in future videos, and again, I have to stay away from two-party consent states, so there'll be a few I can't. There's been people that asked me to call certain states, and I just can't do it. So we have to stay within the law here. But let's call Oklahoma because we can call there. Here we go. Hi, I have a tube of silver quarters, and I also have some of those 1 ounce buffalo rounds I'm looking to sell. I'm calling a couple places. Do you guys buy that stuff?
You bet.
Bring it on in. We'd be happy to make you an offer.
Could you tell me what you're paying for that over the phone?
How many rounds are you talking about?
I actually have a full tube, so a whole 20 of them.
Okay. Are they all nice and clean and everything?
I mean, I've opened them up and looked at them once or twice, but I'd never like put them in my pockets or anything.
Yeah, we probably just need to take a look at them, but we'd be spot or a little above on those.
Spot or a little bit above, and then what about the quarters?
Yeah, we pay good on those.
Okay. What's good? I'm sorry, I don't mean to pry. It's just I'm calling a couple of places. I don't want to drive too much, so.
Yeah, well, we're going to be right around spot or a little bit under on that, but depending on how bad they're worn.
Okay, well, I appreciate it.
You bet.
Thank you. So to sum it up, I mean, we called 4 shops. The first one absolutely gave us the numbers right off of the bat. Now, granted, they weren't the best numbers, and I certainly wouldn't sell to that shop, but at least they gave us the numbers. They were open about it. Now, the second shop wouldn't give us anything, nothing on the phone, have to bring it in and look at it. The third shop, while he did give me the numbers, I mean, reflecting back on the phone call, I did tell him that I was calling around, I was shopping around. And so at that point, he was, he was willing to tell me that he'd be paying +2 on rounds. He was willing to tell me that he'd be paying $20 times face on quarters, which comes out to around $28 an ounce as we did the math there. And the fourth shop, again, didn't really want to give me anything. He said we'd be paying over spot, and then he told me on 90% he'd be paying strong on that. And he goes, well, it'd be a spot or a little bit under. And I get that, they need you to bring it in. So, the generic rounds, of course, if they're beat up or they're spotted or tarnished, it might be a little bit harder for them to sell those. And so they might want to pay a little bit less. So they may need to see those. But, that's something that, you can determine when you get there. They could at least tell me what they were buying it for, without me having to bring it in. They could at least say, well, on nice ones, we're paying +2. On if they're beat up or tarnished, we're paying spot. On 90%, we'll be paying you $1 over, but if it's really worn, then we'll have to pay less, because of wear. And I didn't get any of that. I basically got beat around the bush answers from 3 of the 4 shops, except for the third one. Again, at least he told me after I told him I was shopping around. I'd really liked talking to the guy. He was fun to talk to. And like I said, I kind of wish I could go in there and just chat with the guy because it seems like he'd be fun to chat with. But at the same time, I didn't get it out of him either without telling him I was shopping around. And who knows if he thought that I wasn't shopping around, maybe he offered me only $1 over spot. I don't know. I don't have an answer for that. Unfortunately, it's not one that we're going to get. But this was a different experience. I was not expecting it to be this hard to get the numbers out. And again, I think it's a lot to do with people are, it's easier to buy something from somebody when it's there in front of you. Like, it may be easy for me to take it into a shop and sit it down, and then they look at it and they make you a number, and it's $10 or $20 less than what you were expecting. But then you think about it for a second, you're like, well, I'd really have to spend the time to drive all the way across town, my time and gas and everything else. I have other stuff to do. It's only 10 or 20 bucks. I'll just sell it here and be done with it. Don't have to worry about it anymore. And that's probably what they're thinking, is that it's just easier to get people to bite on the number you give them when they're standing in front of you and you have the cold hard cash, if you will, right in front of their face. So anyway, that's kind of what I got from that. Tell me what you think down below. Again, very interesting calls, went a little bit differently than I was expecting, but enlightening as well. So thank you guys so much for watching. Again, if you haven't done so yet, don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I did leave a video above you can check out if you haven't seen it yet. I also want to give a huge shout out and a huge thank you to my awesome channel supporters scrolling right there on the right hand of the screen. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next one.